Hello my dear students of class 9. Today we will going to learn chapter 20, that is natural region of the world. In this chapter we are going to learn about the location area, climate, natural vegetation and human adaptation of the various natural region, that are equatorial region, tropical grassland, tropical desert and tropical monsoon. So now students, let's begin. So here we first have to learn what do you mean by natural region. So the natural region refers to a part of the earth's surface which has a comparatively high degree of uniformity of structure, surface form and climate within it. So that means the natural region have a uniformity in structure and surface form and also the climate. Uniformity means same in all the characteristics or features. Therefore, every natural region is a homogeneous unit. Homogeneous means that are same, in which the climatic conditions, soil, natural vegetation, human activities are uniform. Now, after this, however, the slight variation are present within each climatic region, though these variations are more pronounced between the different climatic regions. For example, uniformity of hot and rainy conditions are prevalent throughout the year in the region on the either side of the equator. However, despite this uniformity, minor variation in temperature and rainfall are found in the equatorial region. But the conditions are quite different in the adjoining savannah region. So that means here we see that a slight variation is seen in the equatorial region in different part of the equatorial region, but equatorial region is quite different from the savannah region in forms of climate, soil, natural vegetation, etc. So here we see that savannah region has greater variation in temperature and receive moderate rainfall, and thus the world is divided into number of major regions whose physical feature, rock structure, soil, climate, resultant product and the human activities are similar over the large region. Now we are going to learn about the climatic classification of the natural region. So what are the classification of the natural region? So here we see every natural region has combination of climatic element different from others. The climatic combination of this element is known as climatic classification. So what do you mean by climatic classification? Every natural region have a climatic element different from the other. So there are various features that is preferable to one natural region that is totally different from the other climatic region, the natural region. So these are called as the climatic classification. Each type has some common characteristics. So what are the common characteristics? So here we see that the climatic zones are based on the following factors. So what are they? First one is the temperature, pressure, wind, humidity condition. So human response under different climatic type is different. Next one is the landform differ in different climatic region. That means that land types are different in different type of climatic regions. Next one is the climatic condition influence the weathering of the rocks. So we know that weathering means erosion and degradation of the rocks. So the climatic condition also influence or affect the weathering of the rocks. Hence soil too vary considerably, because by weathering of the rocks the soils are formed. So that's why it also affect the formation of the soil. After this, the vegetation and the wildlife greatly vary from one climate type to another. So we know that in the polar region the wildlife is different from the wildlife of the equatorial region. After this, the water runoff in river and stream differ considerably. Cropping season and the method vary in different climatic condition. These are the factors in which the climatic zone are based on. Now the human response shows broad relationship with the climatic region. So what is the relationship of the human and the climate? The relationship between the climate and the human activities is striking in the region where the primary activities like agriculture, animal husbandry, forestry are dominant. So because these all are depend on the climate, so that's why this condition is mainly affecting the human activities. For example, each climate type is suitable for the cultivation of certain crop, as the crops can tolerate some range of temperature and need a certain minimum water supply. Thus, the major natural region are named after the climate or vegetation type. Based on the classification, the major natural regions of the world are discussed as below. First one we going to learn is the equatorial region. So here we have to know what is the location area of the equatorial region. The location is of 0 to 10 degree north and south of the equator. So that means the equatorial region is located in 0 to 10 degree north and south of the equator. After this, the areas where this type of region is found. The region is found in Asia, South America and Africa. And in Africa we see here in the Zaire basin and the Guinea coast in the West Africa. After this we are going to learn about the climate of the equatorial region. How is the climate? The climate in the equatorial region is characterized by heavy rainfall and the constant high temperature throughout the year. So here we see that the temperature remains high. This region lies in the torrid belt and at and near the equator, the sun rays have a high angle of incidence which varies between 66 and half and 90 degree during the year. So here we see that the sun rays have a high angle of incidence. That means the slanting ray of the sun is varies between 66 and half degree to 90 degree during the year. The day and the night are almost of equal duration throughout the year. Now, in the climate, we are going to know about the temperature. So, what is the temperature ranges between? It is ranges between 25 degree to 30 degree during the whole year. The morning are pleasant and sunny and the temperature then begin to rise. In the afternoon, the sky is overcast with a cloud and that prevents heat from being radiated back to the atmosphere. Therefore, the temperature at the ground remains high. So, why the temperature remains high in this region? Because the heat that is absorbed by the earth's surface, it is not radiated back to the atmosphere due to the sky remain overcast. So, because it is covered with a cloud, the temperature that does not radiated back to the atmosphere, that increase the temperature in that region. So for that reason the temperature remains high in that region. The nights are cool and the sky remain clear at night. After this, the rainfall condition. The equatorial rainfall is of the convectional type throughout the year and it ranges between 175 to 250 centimeter. This is due to the vertical ray of the sun, intense heating of the land and the radiation of the heat in the atmosphere. So, why there is heavy rainfall? Because this region experience vertical sun ray and intense heating of the land and radiation of the heat in the atmosphere. Some of the mountainous area like those in Indonesia and in Africa receive orographic or relief type of rainfall. So, relief type of rainfall means the rainfall that is occurring due to the relief, that means the landform condition, that means mainly the mountainous region. So, which causes rainfall in that area. After this, the temperature and rainfall are also modified by the relief. For example, Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain peak in Africa, despite being close to the equator, has peak covered with snow throughout the year. Why this has happened? This happened mainly because East Africa is in the high elevation, has considerably lower means of temperature and landform. Now, in the plains, the torrential rainfall occurs regularly in afternoon between 12 noon and 3 pm. So, the amount of rainfall decreases with the increase in distance from the equator, and the rainfall is maximum at the equinox in the March and September. So, we know that here in this region, mainly the plains receive the afternoon rainfall that is occurring between the 12 noon to 3 pm, and in this region maximum rainfall is occurring between the equinox time, that is in March and September. After this, the season. So, there is no winter season or dry season. Due to the small difference in temperature, the region has a hot and wet season throughout the year. Now, we are going to know about the natural vegetation that is grown in the equatorial region. So, here we see that the equatorial region has a dense forest cover that is also known as tropical rainforest or selvas in the Amazon basin. The rainforests occupy the low altitude area near the equator in the South America, especially in the Amazon lowland, Central and the Western Africa. So here we see that the tropical rainforest that is mainly occupy the low altitudes. Here the regions like the equator in the South America, especially in the Amazon lowland, Central and the West Africa, in the Indo-Malaysia Peninsula and the New Guinea region. These forests are thick and luxuriant, and the trees have broad leaves and are evergreen. That means it have green leaves throughout the year. The vegetation in this forest shows 4 distinct layers. So what are the 4 distinct layers? So here we see that the emergent layer at the edge of the forest has trees like kapok and mahogany, and it is the highest, or the height is above 50 meters. That is the highest trees present in this type of forest. And the next one that comes is the canopy. Canopy formed by the crown of the trees which grows close together. So here we see that emergent and the canopy layer are grows close together, and it blocks the sunlight to reach the ground. Next one is the understory. The next layer which is understory, that here as the sunlight is blocked here by the canopy layer, a minimum sunlight is absorbed by this under canopy or understory layer of the trees. After this, the bottom layer consists of ferns and shrubs, and here also present the climber. So here a minimum or less sunlight is reached to this The main trees that are formed or included in the rainforest are ebony, mahogany, cinchona, green heart, rosewood and rubber. After this, the equatorial region, because of the presence of the dense tropical rainforest, is called as the lungs of the world. So, lungs of the world, because from the lungs we get the oxygen throughout the body. So, that means this is called because the equatorial region has the highest presence of dense tropical forest, and these rainforests function as a giant machine that absorb a large amount of carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. So that is why it is called as the lungs of the world or the earth. Now we are going to learn about the wildlife of the equatorial forest. The equatorial forest have a wide variety of animal species. Some animals are including snakes. So these snakes are not present in the ground. They are found in the trees. So these type of living beings that are mainly adapted to the living in the trees are known as arboreal. This is because it is almost dark on the ground and the absence of the light does not favor the growth of life. There are a large number of lemurs, apes, monkey, reptile like snake, lizard, frog. Near the edge of the forest, elephant, rhinoceros are found. Among the bird found in this forest are hornbills, parrot, macaws. Most of the birds are bright colored. Now, the human habitation of this region, in the equatorial region, the primitive people practice hunting, gathering, whereas the advanced one practice shifting cultivation. In the clearing for shifting cultivation, the crops like tapioca, yam, banana, groundnuts, maize are grown here. Many plantations have been established in the equatorial region, especially in Java, Sumatra, Malaysia, West Africa, Central America. So, this region we have to remember that where the plantation is established mainly in the equatorial region. So the region are the Java, Sumatra, Malaysia, West Africa, Central America, etc. The most outstanding of this plantation are natural rubber and cocoa. Malaysia and Indonesia are leading producer of the natural rubber in the world. So we have to remember that Malaysia and Indonesia are the two areas where the natural rubber are produced in large quantity in throughout the world, accounting for more than a third of the world production. So here we see that these two regions produce mainly more than third of the world production. The cocoa is most extensively cultivated in the West Africa, Ghana, Nigeria being the important producer. The other crops grown in the equatorial region are banana, coconut, coffee, cinchona, sugar, spices, sago, tea, tobacco, pineapple, etc. So, as we covered the equatorial region, now we are going to the next natural region, that is the tropical grassland. So, first here we have to know about the location. So, it is mainly located in the semi-arid to semi-humid climatic region, that is mainly in the latitude of 7 degree to 20 degree north and south of the equator. Now, the area, the savanna are one short or another cover almost half surface of Africa. So it is mainly situated in the Africa or Central Africa and the large area of Australia, South America and Central America. Now we are going to know each specific region of this South America, Africa and Australia. So in South America there are two distinct regions of savanna: Llanos of Orinoco Basin and Campos of Brazilian Basin. Africa, in Africa, Sudan, Senegal, Chad, Cameroon, Ghana, Guinea, Mali, Niger, Togo, Kenya, Tanzania, Angola, Uganda, Zaire, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi and Mozambique. In Australia, the Northern Territory and the Queensland. Now we are going to know about the climatic conditions. So in the climatic condition we covered the temperature, rainfall and the seasons. So first we have to know about the temperature. So here we see that it gets about sunlight of about 13 to 14 hours of sunshine and low humidity. So in this region it is mainly the temperature ranges between 22 degree to 37 degree, and that is the highest temperature that does not coincide with the period of the highest sun but occurred just before the onset of the rainy season. For instance, the hottest month in Sudan are April and May, and October in the Salisbury, that means the Australia. There occurs a distinct drop in temperature during the rainy season due to the overcast sky and the cooler atmosphere. The days are hot. During the hot season, noon temperature is above 38 degrees centigrade. However, when the night falls, the clear sky, which promotes intense heating during the day, also causes rapid radiation in the night, and the temperature drops to well below 10 degree centigrade. Now the annual rainfall is less than that of the tropical monsoon climate, and the length of the wet and dry season also differs from the area to area. Now the season in the northern hemisphere, the hot rainy season begins in the May and lasts till September. The rest of the year is cool and dry. In the southern hemisphere, the rainy season is from October to March. So we have to remember the month when the rainy season begins and ends. After this, we are going to know about the natural vegetation of the tropical grassland. So here we know that the savanna landscape is characterized by tall grasses and short trees mainly. So the grasses is coarse and growth to height of 3 to 6 feet at the maturity. It has the long root which goes deep down in search of water. So we have to know or remember all the features, and so here we see that it grows to 3 to 6 feet at maturity, and it is a coarse type, and it has also the long deep roots that goes down to in search of water. During the rainy season, the grass appears green and well nourished. It lies dormant throughout the long rainless period and appear again in the next rainy season. So, in between the tall grasses, scattered short trees and low bushes grows also. As the rainfall becomes scarce towards the desert, the savanna merges into thorny scrubs. So, here we see as the area is merges with the desert, so the savanna grassland it is transformed to the thorny scrubs. The trees are deciduous trees which shed their leaves in the cool, dry season to prevent excessive loss of water. And some of the trees like baobabs and the bottle trees have broad trunk which water storing device to survive during the dry season. Now the human adaptation of this region, so the savanna are called as the natural cattle country. So that means the native people are mainly dependent on the cattle rearing. That means the herdmen or the pastoralist. They keep large number of cattle which are fed on the tall grasses or bushes and provided them with meat and milk. Queensland in Australia is the largest cattle producing state. So we have to remember that Queensland in Australia is the largest cattle producing state. And the cattle ranching is an important economic activity in the Campos and Llanos grassland of South America. The savanna has immense potential for the plantation agriculture like cotton, cane sugar, coffee, oil palm, groundnut and tropical fruit. This is because 30 inches of the annual rainfall and the lack of surf cold. In West Africa, the main crops are groundnut, oil, palm and cocoa. There are large plantations of sugarcane, cotton and tobacco. The next natural region is the tropical desert, which is mainly located in 15 degree to 30 degree north and south of the latitude, and they are called as the tropical desert. Also these are also known as because this latitudinal zone mostly falls in the tropical zone. So which means here we know that from 0 to 30 is mainly the tropical area, and so this desert is also called as tropical desert as it is mainly fallen in the tropical zones. They lies to the west of the landmasses. After this, the area. So here we see that Africa, Asia, North America, South America and Australia all have the tropical desert. So the specific regions are the Sahara Desert in Africa, the largest in the world. It is mainly in North Africa, and the Kalahari Desert in Southwest Africa, Namib Desert in Namibia and Southwest Angola. Now in the Asia, the Arabian Desert and the Third Desert. North America, the desert extended from Mexico in USA, and it is called by different names like Mojave, Sonoran, California and Mexican desert. After this, we are going to know about the South America. In South America, the tropical deserts are the Atacama Desert, the driest of all deserts, lies along the Pacific coast. And in Australia, the Great Australian Desert. Now, we are coming to the climatic condition of this region. The climate type is characterized by offshore dry trade wind, so which cannot have any rainfall to this region, and the tropical desert have hot summer and the cold winter. The world highest temperature are recorded in these areas. So we know that desert region have the highest temperature record. So in all these areas, they all recorded the highest temperature. Now after this, we are going to know about the temperature and rainfall. In the temperature, in the summer, temperature ranges from 30 degree to 45 degree, and some area may record to the maximum of 58 degree temperature during the peak of summer. The hottest month of a mean temperature of 30 degrees centigrade. Land heats and cools quickly, and the absence of the vegetation create extreme of temperature. The winter temperature may be less than 20 degrees centigrade, and sometimes they are maybe frost at night. Now the rainfall condition. So here we see it is mainly generally hot desert, has less than 25 centimeter annual rainfall, and since these deserts are located in the western margin of the continent, the trade wind that blows in this region set their moisture in the eastern margin of the continent, and they became dry at the time this wind reaches the western side. So the cold ocean current help in the formation of the desert, as these do not cause rain, mist, fog and lower the temperature. So that means here we can say that this trade wind does not give any rainfall to the western part of the continent, and is as it shades all the moisture to the eastern part, and when it comes to the western part, it does not get any rain, mist or any type of rainfall to this region. Now the season. In the interior part of this generally have two seasons, that is winter and summer. In the coastal areas, there may be short rainy season between the summer and winter, and hot dry wind like Mistral, Bora, Sirocco bring pleasant weather condition and may affect the season. Now the natural vegetation of the tropical desert. In this region, the rainfall is scanty and dry, and the trade wind do not help to support the vegetation cover. At some places, thorny shrubs like cactus, prickly pear are found. Plant feature adapted to the arid condition is known as xerophytic plant. So arid condition means dry condition, and in this area, this dry condition area, the plant that are adapted to this type of climate is known as the xerophytic plants. They are also leafless, store water in their stem, and some plants have leathery leaves, others have thorns, and still have some repungent smell as a means of protection against animal grazing. The thorny cacti is often cited as a typical desert plant. Near the watercourses, date palm are found. The wildlife that is found in the tropical desert are the lizard, squirrel, snake, rat, foxes, mice, etc. To escape the heat, burrowing animals dig holes in the ground, and some animals which wandered in the desert but live near the edge, including jackal, foxes, hyenas and anthropos. People use camel to travel through the desert. Now the human adaptation in this region. In the harsh, inhospitable condition in the desert, the inhabitation have to struggle against an environment deficient in water, food and other means of livelihood. Some of the desert habitation are primitive like Bushmen of Kalahari and Bindubu of Australia. They are nomadic hunters and food gatherers. So as they are tribe and living in these type of regions, so we know that here any type of plantation is not supportable, so that's why they are mainly nomadic hunters and food gatherers. Crops cannot be grown without irrigation in the desert, and the water for the irrigation is obtained from the river, dams, oases through a network of canals. The life-giving water of river Nile in Egypt allowed the Egyptians to raise a number of crops. They cultivated rice, cotton, summer, in summer, followed by wheat, barley, beans, and other minor crops in winter. In the desert, where there are oases underground, water reaches the surface and is drawn up from the well by canals and mules. Water is led to the field by the irrigational channels. Beside the date palm, other crops is grown in the oases included barley, cane, cotton, wheat, sugar, fruit, vegetable, etc. Now we are going to the next natural region, that is the tropical monsoon type climate. So first we have to know the location. So what is the location? It is found mainly in the southern Asia with onshore wet monsoon in the summer and the offshore dry monsoon in the winter. So which means the onshore wet monsoon that causes rainfall in the summer season, and offshore dry monsoon that does not causes any rainfall in the winter season. The tropical marine type of climate is experienced along the eastern coast of the tropical land, which receives steady rainfall from the trade wind all the time. Here the areas are Asia, Australia, and the tropical marine type are Africa, Central America, South America, and Australia. So the specific regions that experience the tropical monsoon type are India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, southern China, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, the island of Hainan, Taiwan, and Philippines. The Australia in the northern tips of Australia. Now the tropical marine type of climate that is prevalent in Africa, in the part of Southeast Africa and Madagascar, in Central America, Jamaica, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua. In South America, eastern Brazil, and in Australia, the part of the northeastern Australia. Now the climate, which type of climate is prevalent in this type of region? The tropical monsoon type of climate is regarded as the sub-region of the tropical and the subtropical humid and dry climatic region. It has hot summer and cold winter with a distinct rainfall, and in the area with the tropical marine type of climate. The onshore trade wind influenced the climate throughout the year and led to more evenly distributed rainfall. Now after this, the temperature, here we see that in summer 27 degree to 30 degree centigrade is prevalent in the coastal areas, 35 to 38 in the interior. In the winter, temperature is between 5 degree centigrade to 18 degree centigrade in the interior and between 22 degree centigrade to 25 degree centigrade in the coastal areas. There are cyclonic disturbance and the monsoon is also not regular. The monsoon depends on the rainfall instead of the temperature, and at the end of the monsoon, when the season winds begin to withdraw, there are often violent storms. Now here the rainfall, and in the summer the rain provided a refreshing contrast from a dry condition in winter, and the trade wind in winter are offshore wind. They blow from land to sea. In India, due to the Himalayan barriers, they move in the northeastern direction, and northeastern means that is this is north and this is north, this is south, this is east, and this is west. So here we see that it moves to the northeastern. So this means in this direction it moves to the direction and pick up the moisture over the Bay of Bengal and causes winter rainfall over much region, that is Coromandel coast. Many other factors like cyclones in winter influence rainfall. The rainfall thereafter is not uniform in this region, and the annual amount of rainfall here receives to 75 to 200 centimeters. Cherrapunji in Meghalaya receives about 1200 centimeter rainfall, that is 1200 centimeter of rainfall. Mao Syndrome near Cherrapunji has recorded the heaviest rainfall in the world, and in the area with the tropical marine type of climate, rainfall is caused due to the trade wind and also due to the intense heating during the days in the summer. So, here we see that this is the Himalayan barrier and this is the northeastern monsoon, that it comes from the northeastern side, and so it is called as northeast monsoon, and it picks up the moisture from the Bay of Bengal and causes low pressure in this region. Now the season that is prevalent in this region are, in this region the Indian subcontinent which have a true tropical monsoon climate, and it have three distinct seasons. So what are they? First one is the hot dry season from March to May. Next one, the rainy season, that is continues from June to September. And the third one is the cool and dry season from October to February. So in these seasons, the main causes for the seasonal climate in differential rate of heating of the land and sea. In the area with the tropical marine type of climate, there are two main seasons, that is the wet and the dry season. The wettest month are January, February, March, April. There is no month without rainfall. So after this we are going to know about the natural vegetation, what type of vegetation are grown in this type of region. Many of the island at the coastal areas have the tropical evergreen forest, and this forest type differ from marginally from equatorial rainforest vegetation, and the trees are tall above 60 meter in height. During the summer rain, there is a luxuriant growth of climber, epiphyte, fern, bamboos, etc. Common species of trees included rosewood, ebony, sesame, bamboo. Some of the trees have broad leaves to give out excess water and to receive more sunlight. Island in the Indian Ocean and the slope of the Western Ghat, western part of Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu in India have these type of forest. The area where the rainfall is not experienced throughout the year have a marked dry season, and the tropical monsoon deciduous forests are found here. During the dry period, this season, the trees shed their leaves from 6 to 8 weeks to preserve moisture. So, some trees are teak, sal, sandalwood, mohua are found in 150 to 200 centimeter of area. This area included western side of Deccan Plateau, southeastern part of Deccan Plateau, and the southern area in South China, and thus some areas in South China. So, now the human habitation or adoption. The agriculture is the main occupation. The crops are grown on the small farms in the plain and terraced hill. The tropical agriculture is dependent on the natural rainfall and the large labor force. And the major crop grown in the tropical monsoon region included rice, wheat, maize, millet, sorghum, gram, beans, etc. A number of cash crops like sugarcane, cotton, tea, coffee are grown in this region. Okay students, here we completed this chapter and that's all for today. Thank you.